are with Talks on the Way of Wisdom, the forum that discusses star battles in human consciousness. In verses 28, 29, and 30 of the Dhammapada, we are invited on an ascent to the Palace of Wisdom, a metaphor for the journey toward spiritual enlightenment. Buddha describes this path as a transformative climb, guided by mindfulness and wisdom, leading to freedom from suffering and worldly illusions. What does it mean to ascend towards such wisdom, and how does awareness shape this journey? In this exploration, we reveal the essence of Buddha's teachings on overcoming sorrow, elevating the spirit, and embracing true inner peace. Let this path to wisdom be your compass too. Join us. Watch the entire video. Ascent to the Palace of Wisdom. The ascent to the Palace of Wisdom is a metaphor for the path to spiritual enlightenment, represented in the ancient verses of the Dhammapada, a treasure of Buddha's teachings. These verses, filled with strength and symbolism, explore the significance of mindfulness and awareness, which Buddha presents as tools for achieving spiritual freedom and transcending one's own illusions and weaknesses. Through the image of a sage ascending the Palace of Wisdom and viewing from above those who remain in the grip of sorrow and ignorance, emphasis is placed on the difference between the enlightened and those trapped by the illusions of the world. The verses reveal how a life lived in awareness allows a person to overcome the darkness of ignorance. This spiritual awakening not only frees one from suffering, but also transforms one into a leader of souls, akin to the gods who praise such qualities. The images of a swift horse and a mighty man ascending a sacred mountain underscore the determination, strength, and aspiration of those who follow this path. They surpass others who remain bound to an ordinary life and move toward the spiritual peak, a symbol of complete liberation and knowledge. These words of Buddha are filled with depth and guidance, showing how mindfulness not only makes a person aware of what is happening around them, but also reveals their true nature and potential. Through an analysis of the verses, we will delve into the idea of enlightenment as a conquest of the soul, a transition from the ordinary to the divine, from weakness to strength, and from suffering to inner peace. But what is the Palace of Wisdom, and what is the path to reach it, according to the Dhammapada? This is the question we will seek to answer. Awakening through the power of mindfulness. In the verses of the Dhammapada, mindfulness is presented not only as a quality, but as an essential tool for spiritual growth. It is the bridge that connects ordinary life to insight and enlightenment, as Buddha describes. Mindfulness is like an inner beacon illuminating a person's path and protecting them from the dangers of spiritual slumber, symbolizing ignorance and attachment to worldly desires. The verses we examine paint a vivid image of a sage, awakened among the sleeping, advancing forward with the determination of a swift horse. This emphasizes not only speed, but also the goal-directed energy of the mindful individual. The power of mindfulness, as described, lies in its ability to make a person more aware of everything around them, not only of external events, but also of their inner world. It is a spiritual eye that perceives what is hidden from ordinary sight. Like a strong person who has climbed the sacred mountain and looks down at the others, the mindful one can see and understand reality in a way inaccessible to others. They go beyond the limits of ordinary thinking and focus on deeper truths, understanding life in the light of true knowledge. One of the lessons these verses offer is that mindfulness is not a passive quality. It requires active attention, discipline, and constant reminder. The mindful person does not allow their thoughts and feelings to dominate and direct them in various directions. Instead, they consciously choose their reactions, develop resilience against the temptations of the world, and remain focused on their spiritual path. This is not an easy task, but within it lies the strength of true wisdom and understanding. In this sense, awakening through mindfulness is what Buddha offers to anyone ready to take a step toward true spiritual enlightenment. Overcoming suffering through wisdom. The verses of the Dhammapada present wisdom as key to overcoming sorrow and freeing oneself from the chains of delusions. According to Buddha, suffering often arises from a lack of knowledge about the true nature of life and attachment to the transient. The wise person, ascending the Palace of Wisdom, manages to rise above these attachments because they possess an understanding of the causes and transience of sorrow. This palace symbolizes reaching an inner place where truth is revealed in its simplicity and purity, and where suffering is left far below in the lowlands of ordinary everyday concerns. A key idea here is that wisdom is not just intellectual knowledge, It is a deep penetration into the truth of life, requiring an inner transformation and the ability to view things from the perspective of eternity. The wise person sees pain and sadness as part of the nature of existence, but remains unattached and free from them. Like an observer from a high terrace, they look down on the suffering of others with understanding, but are not involved in it. Wisdom makes them strong and unshakable, allowing them to accept and overcome life's hardships with peace and clarity. Overcoming sorrow through wisdom is also connected with the acceptance of the impermanence of all things. The sage understands that everything in this world is temporary, and when one accepts this truth, they free themselves from the chains of fears and attachments. Thus, wisdom becomes a shield that protects a person from inner suffering and guides them toward a sense of peace and freedom. Spiritual elevation and divine recognition. The last verse of the Dhammapada leads us to the idea of spiritual elevation as a path to recognition and reverence from the gods themselves. In this context, mindfulness and awareness are not just personal qualities, but achievements that elevate the wise person to a level worthy of respect and praise from divine beings. Here, the connection between spiritual progress and the natural elevation of the soul is revealed, which, according to ancient teachings, is the final stage on the path to enlightenment. In the Dhammapada, it is emphasized that one who can overcome spiritual slumber and dedicate themselves to mindfulness not only attains inner peace, but also respect from heavenly forces. Divine recognition is a symbol of the highest achievement, becoming the ultimate reward for one's efforts to reach enlightenment. They not only manage their race, but also become a leader among souls, guided by their inner wisdom and consciousness. In this process, the divine and the human intertwine, and the sage becomes part of the cosmic order of harmony and perfection. This spiritual elevation is not a pursuit of power or recognition in the worldly sense. It is a natural result of inner purification and deep self-knowledge. The mindfulness that Buddha exalts allows the soul to reach its true essence, detaching from earthly attachments and moving toward eternity. This path leads to a state of peace and stability, attainable only by overcoming one's weaknesses and committing fully to the spiritual path. In this sense, recognition from the Wen symbolizes personal perfection and unity with the divine, the ultimate goal of everyone on the path to enlightenment. The theme, Ascent to the Palace of Wisdom, guides us through the principles Buddha presents as leading to spiritual growth and inner freedom. From analyzing the Dhammapada verses, three key aspects of this path emerge: the power of mindfulness, overcoming suffering through wisdom, and spiritual elevation that leads to divine recognition. Each reveals a vital part of the journey toward wisdom and freedom from the illusions of ordinary life. Mindfulness requires effort and commitment to a conscious life, where one learns not to let their mind wander, but to remain focused and stable. This awareness protects against carelessness and allows us to see reality without distortion. Overcoming sorrow through wisdom is related to achieving inner independence, which requires accepting things as they are, impermanent and fleeting. This understanding brings the sage not only peace, but also the strength to face life's challenges. Spiritual elevation is the culmination of this process, where the mindful individual earns respect and recognition from both people and divine forces. This recognition is not a reward, but a natural result of transcending personal egoism and material attachments that hold one captive in suffering. Buddha's verses show how true spiritual progress is achieved through perseverance, understanding, and constancy. Living a life guided by wisdom brings not only peace but satisfaction, inaccessible to those who remain trapped by worldly illusions. Let us take this process as an invitation to cultivate mindfulness in our daily lives. Be consciously present in the moment, manage our emotions, and strive to understand the true values of life. The Palace of Wisdom is not a place but a state of mind. Let us strive to ascend it with small yet consistent steps. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and like our channel. We'd love to hear your opinion.